Hey everyone, it's me, it's Yvette. I'm back for another episode of Motown Witch After Dark, and I got Christine with me today.
Hello, everyone. Peace and love.
Woo! We were having a conversation earlier today about basically our lifestyles growing up. So I think we're gonna call this one like growing up hoodoo, because growing up there really wasn't a name for it. It's how we grew up. It's things that we did growing up. And now everything has a label and a title, so it's kind of weird when you listen to the young folks asking these questions. So I have to turn so I can see your face.
Yeah, yeah. Asking these the how comes and whys, and oftentimes I think they have observed certain things all of their lives that probably have become so commonplace
Yes.
to them that they don't think for a second that this could be some kind of it's ritualistic for one thing, and it's commonplace for them because this is my grandmother did this and my mother did that, or um, so they don't even know that they're, I guess you could say, for lack of a more appropriate term, they don't even realize that they've been conjuring things all of their lives, even to, saying things, certain prayers and different
Truth.
things like that. Because I think, okay, my grandmother, she was a big Psalms 91, I think, protection.
Don't make me lie about the Bible.
Okay, well, see,
I
I
tell
don't.
Medea stories about
Listen,
the Bible.
I'm not a Bible person either, but I know that there are certain.
My grandmother has certain ones, and she has certain ones in her Bible that are highlighted and notes are written in the corners and all that good stuff. But
yes, those
Yeah.
are conjured. I don't want anybody to get their panties in a bunch, but Psalms and Proverbs is full of.
So you say hello, people planning to get in a bunch. It's
Right.
quite all right.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna be offended by something or have something to say or something to argue or whatever, but I don't care.
Right.
But
Psalms and Proverbs are books of conjures and
Yes.
spells. So if, like I said, my grandmother, she told me, something about Psalms 91, and then my mother kind of reinforced that. So if ever I feel, put upon, I go to Psalms 91.
because that takes you back to your comfort place.
Because that takes me back to my comfort place. Or mopping the floor with ammonia, or certain things you put in the mop water, or putting pepper on your front stoop, and sweeping the porch with peppers, because later on, as I got older, I understand what that means, or does it have a meaning, or brick dust, and planting certain herbs or flowers at your front door and your back door, or just various different things, even to feeding squirrels and birds, whatever you want.
Absolutely.
I never for one moment did I ever think that my Muslim mother was busy doing stuff all while we were being assalamu alaikum and
Because that's our culture.
Right.
There's the religion, and I think that's where people get it confused. There's the religion, and then there's the culture.
That's an excellent. That's Yeah.
Because the way we grew up, whether it was Muslim or my people were Southern Baptist,
yes.
you still had these, for lack of a better words, these rituals, these traditions, that the way that you did things had nothing to do with your faith in Muhammad or whoever that is. I'm sorry.
Yes.
And or Jesus or whoever, Jehovah, whoever. And none of that has anything to do with it, because the culture of it is, this is how we do it.
Culture transcends religion. It does.
And that's it. So you can have on a hijab and everything else. You're still going to do this thing with the moon and blow the cinnamon, or well, not blow the cinnamon, something's new, but still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, and that's the whole thing. And even like, I guess, because my family, my parents tried to get away from the Southern, because it was backwoods and country,
Yeah.
and we want to be cityfied and bougie. but you still do all the things.
You still do all the things.
You still do all the things,
Right.
and you're hollering Jesus, 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 and you still do all the things. So it's like, oh, okay, I see what it is, and I can see it for what it is, and it just is what it is.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
It honestly is. But now, I think the people who get, for lack of a better, say it your way, for people who are getting their panties in a bunch about it and calling it a closed practice or whatnot, it's because it's our culture.
Yes.
It's our culture. Yeah, every other people can do it. Yeah, I know my ex-in-laws who were Appalachian, they had their thing that they did and all of that's all groovy. But at the same time, this is our culture. That's why people get pissed off.
That's why people get pissed off. Now, I don't necessarily, you can close a practice off and you can, try to prevent or I'm not going to share certain things with you. Well, ultimately, every culture or every ethnicity has a segment or a sect of it that practices mysticism.
Mm-hmm.
Islam has a sect that practices mysticism. The Romani,
Yes.
the Gypsies, the Appalachians.
Mm-hmm.
They all have a segment or maybe a small portion of population that do mystic art. I guess the word
Folk
would be
magic.
Folk magic. Folk magic. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know what to say. But absolutely. So even if you say, well, I'm not going to share these things with you, all a person has to do is just reach back and remember Auntie so-and-so that everybody thought was weird that, wore a coat in July or some shit like that. And go and talk to her, and she probably, in the midst of her delusion, she'll probably share all the family passed down hoodoo, voodoo, whatever, onto the next, onto you. It's up to you to pick and choose which things that you can incorporate into your daily life that kind of reinforce your protection, and what strengthens or fortifies your guidance, ancestral guidance or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
We all have ancestral guides.
Truth.
It's up to you to call on them. I kind of notice when I'm in here, there's the people, the customers, your clients or customers or whatever, they kind of wander around and they touch things and read things and stuff like that. Then they'll come and ask you a question, but they'll still go and do what they gonna do. You have to do what resonates with you.
Exactly.
I had to find what resonated with me. I could trip and fall and try to chase after this person or that person to teach me this and that and whatever. But if you tune in internally and tap into what's already in something kind of genetic resonance, you'll be led.
But it's about quieting that the other voices and actually hearing and
that's
trusting
the part
yourself.
That's the part that's
Most people don't trust themselves. They want somebody, because there's people who come in here and they're mad at me because I won't tell them step by step by step.
See, now that's,
And they get pissed off.
of course.
Why can't you tell me? It's because it's not for me to tell you. Because that's part of the thing that's bothering me right now with a lot of these podcasts and YouTube videos that I see with these certain people who do hoodoo, and they swear that their way is the real, authentic way.
Or the only way.
And it's like, dude,
Yeah.
your family does something this way. My family might do it a different way. That doesn't mean mine is less than yours. That's just how they did it in your fucking house. I don't even understand how you even get that out of your mouth. And that's what I'm hearing from so many people. And then I have to turn it off because then I get mad and I be screaming at the screen. It don't make no sense. But
no, not you.
because it's just the most idiotic thing ever.
Yeah.
And and it's like, so that's what that meant in your family. That's not what it meant in my family.
Right.
So, but you can't tell me I'm wrong.
Absolutely not.
That's insane. Right now, I make potato salad with Vegenaise because I don't do mayo.
Okay.
That doesn't make my potato salad not potato salad. It's still potato salad.
Right.
The fuck?
Right. Exactly. And then it's cultural, and every family has its own individual cultures. It's regional. What we do in Georgia, in Danes Ferry, Georgia, and Forsyth County might be completely different than what they do in Fayetteville, Kentucky. It might be different from what they do in New Orleans and all this other stuff.
And right now, you make it yours. You make it yours. The best example I have of making something yours. You know, I grew up in a Polish neighborhood, right?
Right.
So growing up in a Polish neighborhood, my grandmother would make pierogies.
Your black grandma?
My black grandmother, my Alabama grandmother, she would make pierogies. She got it from the lady down the street.
Right.
She would make pierogies, but she would make gravy with ours.
I didn't know that you put gravy on.
No, because she soul fooded it.
She made it work. She made it work.
So she made her own tradition with it. Now, you can't tell her she's wrong, but she also is not saying it's Polish.
Right.
She's not calling it Polish.
Because it's hers now.
Because it's hers.
Right.
It's pierogies. The pierogi part is Polish, but the rest of it is hers. She's not putting capusto or nothing else on it.
Right.
She's putting gravy.
What did you just say, putting the what?
Yeah, the Polish part comes out. I'm sorry. Anyways.
Indeed. And exactly what you're saying is that my way of doing something may not be appropriate for you, may not resonate with you, it doesn't work for you, and that's individual, that's familial. I think that's families are passed down from family member to family member, and if you pay attention, you'll pick up the things. Mm-hmm. You'll pick up the things.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. All the little idiosyncrasies, all those little things on what you do in the house, stuff that I got from my grandmother, even little goofy stuff that's just not even hoodoo per se, but just home care. When you got an older house, how to keep mice out your house and little stuff like that. She was just do blah, 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 blah. It's like, and I would do it and, no more problems.
Right.
Okay, yay. But now we got the culture who don't want to listen to grandma.
Right.
They don't want to talk to grandma.
They would rather follow strangers on YouTube.
That part.
Or I need a book, and I'm not saying that these things aren't helpful, but you have to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Go back to your blood.
Absolutely.
Go back to your cells. Go back to grandma, auntie, or whatever. And you know what? I remember so-and-so, this and that and the other. That's easy for me to do. I can get up in the morning and I open up all the blinds and I burn sage or whatever it is, whatever. I'm not saying that that's your thing or whoever's thing, but whatever it is, if it keeps you light and gives you direction and keeps you from getting caught up into the minutia of other people's bullshit.
It's the ritual of it.
It's the ritual
It's the ritual of it. I realize that in the house, my situation that I'm in now, I'm gonna put it that way. In the situation that I'm in now, I realize I don't do things the way that I would normally do it. And it ain't not really thought about it because I'm just living the life where I am right now.
Right.
And it took my son to say something to me about it.
So you're accommodating.
Because I ain't even thought about it. Right. It's just because I'm not comfortable enough there in that situation to be how I normally am. Right. Because you saying that just brought it to mind. So it's like any of my previous existence, I have gotten up, the shower, the dressing, all that stuff. But when I come downstairs or I come into the main part of the house, there is the opening of the blinds. There is the lighting of my incense. There is the saluting my altars. There is all those things I do.
Yes.
Now in this house, I just salute my altars. There is no opening of blinds. There is no lighting of nothing. There is no nothing. And there's a disconnect there because of it. Right. And I didn't even realize it. My son pointed it out.
You didn't realize that you were being accommodated to.
No, because I come here and do it. I call this my home. I come here and do it. I don't do it there.
Yeah, I get you. I get it. Yeah.
So when I get here, I have a whole thing that I do, which is why when people are calling me in that first hour or so, because I get here early and people think, oh, she's up early, I can call her. Yeah. No, because I have a whole little ritualistic thing that I do. Don't fucking bother me. I gotta watch my mouth. Anyway. Yeah.
Thank goodness I don't call in the morning.
Yeah, it's like, don't bother me. Just, this is my me time. Leave me alone. So I do it here. I don't do it there.
See, now that's why there's something in this body, the arthritis or whatever the hell it is that wakes me up at 4, round about 4, whether I want to or not. And I'm not saying that I even want to, but something wakes me up at 4 o'clock. So I go downstairs, I start my coffee, and I have been accommodating too. I've been accommodating for other, my grandchildren in the house. Used to be I'd get up, I would burn my incense, I put on my music. The music has I have to have it. There's a certain kind of music that I listen to that puts me where I need to be
And
on.
you turn it on just a little lower so you don't wake them up?
I just stopped putting in the effort for that time, that ritual, those ritualistic moments, times that you need to invest for yourself to get where you need to be mentally and spiritually and emotionally to take on the day. And I noticed that when you cut those things out, when you stop doing those things, it starts to affect you.
It makes a difference.
It makes all the difference in the world. I can take on the world. I feel like Wonder Woman, Supergirl or whatever. When I put myself in that place, I've become weakened because I haven't been reinforcing my daily rituals. Yep. I need to just, like you I need to get back to doing that, and we all need to do that. Even, you can call it hoodoo or whatever you want to call it, but like if you are broke and you can't buy your whatever it is, or you can't pay whatever it is, do those things that you know that bring you money. Whatever they call it, manifestation now.
Yep.
Do that what resonates you to become magnetic to that money, whatever, or to that being able to pay that bill. My mother did that. I forgot all about that. Whether it be wearing certain colors, orange was her color. Mm-hmm. When she wanted to get money, or when she wanted to hit the lottery, or
We're
whatever.
having a malfunction over here. This whole microphone just failed. Go ahead.
There was things that she did, and I totally forgot about that.
But there's all of those things. There's what you plant at your front door, plants that you keep near the front of the house. All of those kind of things.
All of those.
There's all of those kind of things that make a huge difference, and we've ignored a lot of it.
Absolutely. And then media doesn't help either, because I think maybe the influence of media, shows like Charmed and Bewitched and all that bullshit that they have on TV, and they think that you can snap your fingers, or you can do that instantaneous shit. Creating energy, you have to create a field. If that makes any sense, it's a science to it.
There's a science to it.
It is a spirituality. You can't separate spirituality from science. You cannot. I think that has a lot to do in voodoo also.
In hoodoo.
In hoodoo, right? Excuse me. Yeah, hoodoo. Don't get those two mixed up. That has a lot to do with hoodoo too. Is invoking what seems like mysticism, or what appears to be mysticism, even if it is mysticism itself, is there's a science to it. Fields of energy are created, just like the earth has so-called gravity or magnetic field or whatever, but it does something consistently over and over again. Of course, you're going to create a certain influence with that. Rituals, affirmations, thoughts and dreams.
Absolutely. My grandmother used to hit the number off my dreams all the time.
See?
She would always ask me, what did I dream? And I would tell her, and next thing you know, I had some money, because she would give me a cut. So.
Yeah.
But there's, all of it, and a lot of it's lost. A lot of it's lost Well, now everybody asks questions. We particularly didn't ask questions. We just did what we were told
We
to do.
just did what we was thank you.
So it wasn't a, why are we doing this at quarterly? Why are we doing this with the change of the seasons? Why are we, why are we washing the walls at this time of the year? Why
Yes.
are we doing these things? We didn't ask. We just did what we were told.
We just did what we were told.
And I really don't. I still don't even see the purpose of asking. Just do it, and you get to see the change. But now you ask and blah 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 blah. But now I'm gonna blame it on the crack era. But now there's that loss of people even knowing how to keep a house, knowing what to do.
Yes.
There's this whole lost thing because there's so many people who don't know how to keep a house, don't know how to cook, don't know why to cook, don't know why to do anything. So it's a huge lost thing. 'Cause I spent a lot of time explaining a lot of stuff that I think of as everyday knowledge that I end up explaining to people.
Yeah.
Excuse me, particularly younger people. I'm explaining these things, and it's like, wow. But I think the best story ever is when I was still at the other store, and there was a lady who came in, and I don't even remember what her issue was, whatever the issue was, and she asked me the question, and I told her to get the bucket and get the bleach and go through the house, and she started to cry. And she said, "Oh my God, I forgot all about that stuff."
See.
And she said, "My family's from Alabama." I said, "Mine too." And we started talking because she knew where Talladega was. So I was like, all right. So we started talking, and she's standing there crying and snotting and the whole nine. And she said, "You know what? I need to sit down and just remember all the stuff I grew up doing." I said, "Exactly.
All the stuff.
There you go. That's it, in a
That's
nutshell."
it, right. You can drive out you can drive out a lot of, I'm not saying that depression and dark times don't exist. All of that, those are everyday realities, mundane things for some people. But to go through, just using that as an example, to go through the house with a bucket of water, and for us, for my mother, it was ammonia.
Mm-hmm.
Ammonia, that has a way of sweeping out, how you sweep the house. How you sweep the house.
Yes.
And then mopping the floors with ammonia or bluing. Do you remember bluing?
I said bluing.
See, I had no idea that you know what? Listen.
Yes.
Listen.
Because my grandmother washed with bluing because we had our church whites. Especially down south, because that's the only time I went to church. I didn't go to church up here. I only went to church in the summer down south.
Summer church.
Well,
Yeah.
my father didn't allow, because up here, they had the children's church or whatever, but my father's thing was everybody was a pedophile in his brain.
I get it.
So he didn't believe in church, so he wasn't going. But my mother was going to go, and I had to stay with her because he forbid her to let me go to some room in the basement. And that was his rule, and she had to abide by his rule. But once I saw them spirits in the church and came home and told people them stories, he said I didn't have to go back no more. So I didn't go back no more. But in my summers down south, my Aunt Arvilla was the orchestra lady. What's it called? That's the choir. The choir lady with the piano. She played the piano. Everybody in the church was a relative. I'm down south for 3 whole months. Ain't nobody gonna tell my great grandmother I can't go sit with the other kids they're all my cousins anyway.
Right.
So I had fun. It wasn't even about the church aspect. I don't even know what the hell happened. I knew at the end we was having fried chicken. That's in a pie. That's all I cared about. And I remember them letting us sing "Joy to the World" every dog night. So that.
I get it.
That's my memories of church down south. But we had to wear the white. So my grandmother, with that old barrel washing machine that was on the back porch where we had to pull the water up from the well.
Oh my God!
And pour that in there, and it had the ringer on there. My grandmother wouldn't let me do it because she said I was gonna put my hand through there.
And I did that.
She wouldn't let me do it. So yeah, but I got to see how the bluing worked because I was like, it's blue, and all the clothes came out extra white and crispy.
But who knew that bluing had anything to do with hoodoo?
Right.
Or ammonia? Oh my goodness! Are you serious? Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
I get it. Go. It's in the family. It is in our blood. It is in our blood.
It is. But like, it's cultural.
Yeah.
It's a cultural thing. It's just that it doesn't have a name. And if you give it this whole hoodoo connotation, then everybody gets spooked out. Those are the people who come in here and they don't see the Motown witch awning over the front door. They see the awning on the corner of the building that says incense, oils, and candles.
Yeah.
So they come in here and ask me for Versace oil or whatever the fuck it is. My mouth, jeez. And and I'll be like, no, we have conditioned oils. Well, what is that? I'm like, well, you're in the Motown witch. What? Oh my God. Then I've had people actually run out the door.
Are you serious?
I literally run out the door.
Oh my God, I'm sorry I missed
One
that.
lady stood there and prayed at the door. Another lady stood there in the middle of the floor and wouldn't move. She goes, but I got so many questions, but I'm not supposed to be here, but I have questions. So she was torn within herself.
You know that we've been effectively brainwashed or trained or conditioned to fear the things that are most powerful in us. That is really
Because you give your power to someone else.
because yeah.
It's easier just to give your power to someone else and have someone else tell you what you're supposed to do than to sit in your own shit and sit there and go, you know what? Oh, this is what I think I should do here, and take responsibility for how you are
Right,
feeling and what you
right.
hear.
Oh my goodness.
So it's easier to have somebody else tell you, no, you got to do this, you got to do that.
You know what? I'm glad that, well, just to briefly go over this, I'm glad you brought that up because kind of I noticed in the corresponding systems is that we always tend to, or humans tend to want to ascribe certain misfortunes on something else. He who sits at the crossroads, or the devil, or she put roots, or he put roots, or they did this and they did that. When oftentimes it has a lot to do with what's going on up here, the decisions that you make and the consequences oftentimes have a poor outcome, not because of the outside influences, but because of the decisions that you make.
Absolutely.
So rather than pointing fingers at the road keeper, he who stands at the road, or the devil, or these demons, or he or she put roots on me and this and that and the other, how about stop doing the dumb shit that you did? If it didn't work out the first time, make a better or different choice.
That would be taking personal responsibility.
Taking personal,
And that's not going to happen. That's the problem. That's not going to happen.
that is so,
You work extra 50 hours, get all of this money on your check, and you go put your down payment on your new car. You say, ain't God good? Because you worked hard like a dog. You are tired as shit because you worked all of this extra
yeah.
to get this down payment. Now, that same said car gets in an accident, and it's like, see what the devil did. But you were drunk driving. So what did that have to do with the devil?
Take accountability. Oh my God, that means that you would have to actually be accountable for your decision.
And that's what all that boils down to. Every time. It is the most amazing thing when I hear that kind of stuff. So,
yeah.
No one takes personal. One of my ex, when he did me wrong, we were good up until that time where he did me wrong. And there's certain things that I just don't tolerate, and I left. So when he lost the car, lost the house that I left him in, lost everything that was his riches that he was so proud of, which was the thing that was dividing us anyways, because the more money he made, the more of an asshole he became. He calls me like 6 months later and says, take the curse off me. And I'm like,
Take the curse?
No curse on you. What are you talking about? No, what are you talking about? You got a curse on me. He tells me all the woes, what he's lost, all the things he's lost. He's broke now. He has no money now. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, wow. You fuck. Maybe my ancestors tapped your ass for fucking with me. I don't know. I got nothing to do with it because you ain't been a thought in my brain, dude. I ain't even
Right.
thought about you. I'm living my whole life over here.
Right.
So, no, and taking personal responsibility.
Right.
So, to this day, you can't get him to admit that he fucked up. Although he still thinks I'm coming back all these 25 years later, but
I don't know.
you can't get him to admit the crazy that he did that made that divide.
I think that has to, but at some point, at some point in our since being wherever it is, at some point in societally, we came to a point of arrested development where we no longer wanted to be responsible for our decisions or something. I don't know what has happened. I believe
The
I was
Bible.
like,
That's what happened. You
that
gave
is-
it all
I
over.
can't even,
They gave
you
it
know.
to Christ. It's all Christ or the devil. It's one of those two fucking. It's
Right.
one of them two things.
Right.
So it's easier to put it off on somebody else. It's easier. Another good example, we was talking earlier about drug usage, and I was talking about my so-called friends. I'm gonna call them so-called friends because so-called friends should be trying to talk you into doing shit that I had in the 80s that were trying to talk me into shooting up with them.
Yeah.
To some musicians that I knew. And I could have did it. Now, if I had done it, it was going to be the devil. If you had talked to anybody in my family, they would have said it was the devil.
Right.
Instead of my choice, I chose not to. Because I'm like, you got to understand, the dude is telling me how great it feels, and it feels like you're in the magic bubble, and it feels so great. I'm like, but on this side, you look like a slobbing idiot laid over in the
I
corner.
was about to say,
So it doesn't make sense to me. I don't want to look like a slobbing idiot. He's trying to tell me how beautiful it feels. And I'm like, well, it might feel good to you, but you look stupid to me. So no, I'm good.
see, now,
You know, but it's a decision.
that's making a decision.
And I'm not even going to call him the devil.
No.
Now, he made a
He was just
decision
an
to
idiot.
shoot up.
Right.
I made a decision not to. It's real simple.
Right. He was just an idiot. And
other than that, he was a great guy. I loved hanging out with him and having fun with him. But that was the one thing that was a dividing factor. Like, no.
and that was a decision.
It's a decision. It does not has nothing to do with a God or a devil. It was a decision. I made a decision not to. But that's a personal choice.
Right. Those people that fear Legba or fear Eshu is Satan and all. That's how it's translated. No, that was choices.
It's all about a choice. I have a cousin who started doing crack because her now husband was her then husband, whatever, was doing crack, and she wanted to be closer to him and thought that him doing crack would make him come back around or some shit. I don't know. I'm sorry, because there's no logic. When she told me that, I was standing there looking at her with my mouth open, like, you did what? Wait, what? So you risk becoming
A crackhead so that you could be. But you
What a
know that
crackhead?
listen, I've seen how many times have we seen that? Even on how many times have we seen that? Because he did, she did. I want to be with him, her.
I ain't never understood. I'm sorry. My first husband was a heroin addict. It never crossed my mind.
Listen, I've been with alcoholics.
I took him to rehab.
Sick of your high ass.
I took him to rehab. The rehab didn't work. I took him to divorce court. It was just that fucking simple. No. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I think no matter what it is, like I said, you can do both. None of these things are like exclusive paths where you only can do that one path. But no matter what it is, I think even my church going folks, it's about choice.
Absolutely.
But you still have to take personal responsibility. And the pastor is not God and the devil is not the ones making all these dumbass decisions that you're making.
Because people want to ascribe human attributes unto concepts and energies. You want to say he and she and the devil this or Jesus that, or you want to, these are supposed to be deities, or these are supposed to be those things that are nearly beyond our comprehension, but you want to ascribe to them human attributes. How? You came here equipped with the Creator by whatever name, equipped you with everything that you need to survive in this reality. That what more do you need? If you have a brain, if you're able to make, unless you're mentally deficient in some way, unless you're missing some things that you should have been born inherently with, there's no way you can't get through. There's no way. If you make a bad decision, a bad choice, if you're able to recover, make another choice. Do something else. Go down a different path. If that nigga's fucking you over, leave him alone. If she won't stop cheating or if she's doing this and that, choose go another route.
Again, that's where the personal responsibility comes in at, though. You gotta make that. You got to take personal responsibility no matter what it is, no matter what your path is.
That's absolutely.
And that's the challenge for most people. Yeah. I mean, and now the way the world is going to get worse.
Oh, absolutely.
It's getting worse
because the rapture is coming.
I don't know about that part, but it's getting worse because of how the planet is going and how the mindset of the populace is going with everything is offensive. Everybody is on edge and on guard. I had a friend who stopped by here yesterday. This is totally off the hoodoo topic, Lord. Or she was attacked, not physically, but verbally. She was harassed in Ferndale because she said something about having a uterus.
What?
Yeah, that's totally off topic. We ain't even gonna go down that rabbit hole. But everybody is so super duper sensitive.
Yeah, super.
Everybody is super
yeah.
duper sensitive. So even with this subject, with folks feeling that something, whether it's a closed practice or not, or whatever, folks get in their feelings if you tell somebody something is closed. Folks get in their feelings if you tell them something like this is cultural. Well, this is my culture, sweetheart. It's not yours. And people get offended by that. Although, like someone like myself, growing up in a melting pot, the Polish kids had their cultural things. We had our cultural things. The Romanian kids, the Czechoslovakian kids, the Albanians, they all had their own cultural whatever. In fact, I learned about a lot of different people's folk magic practices that were similar to ours, or there were some similarities somewhere in there. But that's getting to know other people's culture. And to see that they have that. And they're still Catholics and all the other things that they are. They still have their folk magic practices. But again, it's not called that. It's not called anything. This is just what you do because grandma or great-grandma did it. It's just that simple. But folks want to get in their feelings if they don't know about something. So you got to, it's like the one lady who leaned across the counter and put her hand on her thing and was like, I want to know everything you know. I'm looking at her like, what? Excuse me? She goes, I want to know everything you know. I'm like, I don't think that's possible.
See, I love that I love what you did here, but
She would fight people by now. I've been in trouble enough for pulling machetes on people. She would have come across the counter and hit somebody seriously. For all y'all who think I'm the hothead, she's worse than me. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Most people are intimidated by how I look most of the time. They tell me I got the resting bitch face. But this one here, she'll look all serene and pretty and dainty and everything. And next thing you know, you're being punched in your face. I'm just saying.
But the fact of the matter is, and I'm so glad that you put this on a platform to be shared, is that there are rights and there are wrongs, but you have to gravitate and embrace what is comfortable, what resonates with you, what helps you to be a better person. I had a conversation with she says she's not Christian, But, she goes down to Jesus dog, she and does the Jesus dogma or whatever and refers to the God as he and stuff like that. I appreciated a lot of the things that she said. I would never agree, but I appreciated her faith was so intense, and I'm like, okay. And for her, what she explained to me, the things that we were talking about is that her faith in what she believes actually has improved her life and made her a better person.
So that's her path.
That's her path. I could never judge that. Just like I said, if all Baptists or Christians or whatever, if that Christianity is not all under the mantle of Christianity.
I don't know. I think if you want to worship ahead of lettuce and it makes you feel good every day,
and it makes you a better person. It brings you peace. It helps you to get along better in life. It reduces your stress or whatever. If that's what it takes, if that's the path for you, I think you should. I praise that. I respect it. I admire your dedication to it. If that's what it is. So I don't judge, but I just don't want, I will not accept being judged either.
That's the whole thing. I think everybody should be able to do what they do without the judgment of other people.
Absolutely.
So, and I don't know. I just don't have, I can't find nice words. What you eat don't make me shit. I mean,
I know what you mean exactly.
What you eat don't make me shit. I mean, if you eat chitlins and I don't eat pork, have at your chitlins. I'm gonna sit over here and eat what I eat. You sit over there and eat your hog guts. We're gonna be good. And I think if more people would come to that, it'd be a lot less stress on this planet. We be worried about everybody else's shit. Meanwhile, your shit is rotten. Worry about your own shit. Get your own shit right. No. So, and I think that's where I get so irritated. Sometimes I get irritated a lot because I hold so many people's secrets because people come and tell me their secrets because they know they're not going to hear it again. I'm not going to repeat it to nobody else because it's nobody else's damn business.
Yeah.
It's nobody else's business.
You know what?
The things that I say, I talk a lot about a lot of shit. And the things that I say is shit that I'm going to repeat, that I can repeat, because I got a bad-ass memory. I ain't got time to remember lies. I just can't. Whatever I said is what I said. It is what it is. Yeah. If you get butthurt, not sorry. But it just is what it is.
Yes, I'm a witness to that.
I mean... And we spend so much time worrying about everybody else. It's like, oh my God, do you believe this person did that? Do you believe that person did this? Do you believe? It's like, okay, but how did that affect your life? Is that person happy? Is that person good? Well, then that's what they're doing.
Business.
And it's not affecting your life at all.
Oh
I don't get that. I don't get that. At the end of the day, I got my own shit to worry about. If they're not in harm's way.
Right,
and even if they are,
listen, for me, if you're not hurting a kid, an old person, or an animal of some sort, I don't give a fuck. And I'm good at keeping secrets because I can't remember I'm not gonna remember what the fuck you said tomorrow anyway. So people, some people, they do tend to tell me things, and I'll, if I can think up something smart or something clever or whatever it is that you need. If I can give it to you for that moment, I will. But don't ask me what the fuck you said tomorrow, because I'm not going to remember that shit. I don't. My head is full of all kind of Jack Skellington shit, okay?
See, that's a part of my life up here. Somebody showed up here today, and I have not seen them probably in about 2 years. And I was in the back, and I happened to walk out to do something, and they were up here making a purchase. And they go, you probably don't remember us. Then I looked at the guy. I remembered the guy. I didn't remember her as much, but I remember her husband. And I was like, y'all had a bunch of kids. That's all I do remember. And they was like, yeah, well, last time you saw us, we was pregnant with number 5. And I was like, yeah, I remember that now. I remember that part, but
I can't remember shit. Did I tell you something smart? Did it work out? Okay, that's great. All right, that's cool.
But yeah, so I don't know. I think we trust in ourselves, remembering God, I remember even like my grandmother with the not just the going out in the backyard and picking some shit and making a tea and tell you to drink it, because you didn't question, you didn't ask even what it was, you just drank it because she told you to drink it.
Yes.
But I can remember, I didn't even know until I was grown that dogs went to vets and shit, because my dog never went to the vet. I had one dog until I was 15. That dog died of old age. I remember she jumped up on the storm door and her foot went through the glass. She broke the glass. And my grandmother had these old brown coffee cups. That were plastic. That was for her mixing a little shit up in. And she poured some peroxide in it and stuck the dog's paw in the peroxide. And I thought that was the coolest shit ever, to watch all that shit bubble anywhere. Like, do it again. And yeah, so she had a way of just having something for everything and packing things and doing a butterfly stitch to close up shit. And she just had a way to do everything, and it's just how it was done. And it was I think it's a simple way of life. It's an easy way of life, I think, anyway. It's a lot less convoluted. And just to remember all of those things, which is probably why I was so happy those few years I was married to number 3 and was, right? And was living, and I had a large garden and lived until like March, I think, off the shit that I had frozen out of my yard. And I was I was like 60, 70% raw food at the time. And I was living this life because it was totally reminiscent of my summers down south.
I get it.
All that was missing was slaughtering the chicken and shit. That was all that was missing. But, I mean, it was just such an easier way. And you take that and you couple that with having the hydrangea near the door and having the rosemary growing and all these different things.
Yes.
You put all that together.
God. You put all that together.
And it's like, okay, now it all makes sense. And now you got people who put it in the books that make it make sense, but then you also got people who are writing bullshit that's not true. That's fucking other people.
Oh my God, did you hear about the guy that said you're not supposed to drink water?
What?
He said, I'm sorry. Some people might even believe in that.
You're not supposed to drink water?
That's some guy on, that's what I get for getting absorbed into social media today. I was watching, what was it? I think it was Instagram, and it came up on my timeline. Some little dude, not little dude, stop saying little dude. Some guy was saying that only animals drink water.
Well, you know there's doctors telling you that with your babies.
Telling you what now?
With the babies.
Say
No
what?
water.
No water.
No water. Going back to Caleb. Caleb is what, 12 now? Yeah.
No water.
The doctor, these last several grandchildren of mine,
Yeah.
their mothers, pediatricians have told them not to give the babies no water.
We're going to hell.
Infamil, yes. So give them some sugar-laden chemical shitstorm, but don't give them no water.
Right. We're not going to hell. We're in hell. We're in hell, everybody. We're already there.
Honestly. Because I'm explaining to this little girl, his face ain't supposed to turn red when he tries to have a bowel movement.
Right. That means he's
like 3
constipated.
months old. He's not
Yeah.
supposed to turn red. His system should still be clean.
Right.
So I get him for 4 or 5 days out the week, and I'm giving him water in between these bottles of garbage. And things are flowing.
Things are flowing, right.
Things are flowing.
Yeah, they got it. See, that's what we need to, I don't have no words after that.
Because my grandmother understood that most illnesses started in the fucking colon. Or she didn't call it the colon, she said your gut. So she would monitor your bowel movements. She would figure out how things were, ask you was it hard or soft, and then she'd figure out what kind of laxative you needed. And everything went from there. There was less illness, less discomfort.
Absolutely. Castoria. Man, I remember Castoria. I remember.
I liked Castoria as a kid. I was a weird kid.
I did too.
I liked Castoria.
I like Castoria. I remember castor oil. I remember, what is that? Thick, icky stuff. I don't even
Castor oil.
Castor
Iggy.
And then the fishy stuff. What is it called? I forgot. Man, I forgot the name of that shit. But anyway, we used to go to Paul's Cut Rate Drugs and buy all of that stuff. But that wasn't, and I didn't have nothing to do with magic. That was just homegrown, grown out
It was
the,
homegrown care, and you did a lot of that cleansing of your body internally, seasonally.
seasonally.
It went seasonally.
Yes.
It went with watching her take up all the rugs in the house, take all the curtains, wash all the curtains in the house, wash all the windowsills, get underneath every piece of furniture, get in every corner. All this shit was seasonal.
Damn, my stomach feel tired just thinking about all that.
All that shit
Yeah,
was seasonal.
Yeah, it was seasonal. Yeah, less illness, less demonstration of mental imbalances and all that shit. That is all incorporated into the things that we do. How things are manifested now that we probably didn't see so much of back then as we see it now. Not saying that it didn't exist, that all kind of weird, bizarre shit has always existed, but I guess we didn't observe it so much or so often and so obvious because there was ways to minimize that bullshit. There was ways to I don't know. I am getting, I keep saying I'm getting old, but I'm not fucked up.
Now, it's a change in times. It's the change in times that make it different, because I'm looked at as a weirdo for cooking from scratch. I'm looked at as a weirdo for a lot of stuff, but there's also this movement of young people who are trying to live off the planet, off the earth, off the land, and doing those things. So there is still that, but the majority of all these other folks over here, it's like you're looked at as a weirdo because you cook from scratch, because you clean, because you do, and the looks I get from young folks, so they'll go, well, I saged. I said, but did you clean? But I saged. No. Did you clean? Did you get a bucket? Did you get some water, some bleach, a sponge, a towel? Did you clean? But I saged, and it just all this kind of stuff. A washcloth, things with a washcloth that you just do. Because even this last couple of my grandson's mothers who have done that whole thing about baby wipes. And it's like, I'm out of baby wipes. I said, so get a washcloth. And they're looking at me like, ew. I'm like, what you think we did before baby wipes? And I'm sorry, but when I'm on a budget, wipes is out of the question. It's called a washcloth and a bar of soap.
Shit. Well, listen, I had my baby way young. I started off with cloth diapers. I don't even know if they still even have the diaper service that used to. Somebody had gifted me, I forgot who it was, at my baby shower, had gifted me so many months of
I forgot the name of that company.
I forgot the name of it too, but they was cloth diapers with the little plastic thing that would go over.
That's gonna bother me.
Yeah, cloth diapers. Come on now. And they wonder what, in those little bubbles that soak up all the moisture out of the diaper, they also use that same thing in tampons and sanitary napkins. That it releases a chemical called styrene, which is carcinogenic. And they're using that in the baby's diapers and in tampons and sanitary napkins. It seemed like everything is being made to try to kill us or sicken us. So why not take a step back? And I get real proud when I see young people saying that they're doing it natural. Young couples buying acres of land and planting stuff. Man, where's my second lifetime at? Because I'm finna do all that shit. I'm finna have some cows and some chickens and plant some shit. Man,
Not cows.
Well, no, not cows. I ain't fucking with no cows. The big ass. I don't want to fuck with nothing that much bigger than me if it's not male.
I mean, if you're not gonna drink the milk, what's the point of you having a cow?
Just because they're cute. And I don't drink milk. You're right.
Something about big old cow eyes that bug me.
Really?
The eyes, they just got big ass eyes.
They say they act like puppies or something.
They got big ass eyes.
I've been watching too many of those animal videos. I think most humans are trash anyway. So yeah, I get all
absolutely.
I get caught up into the animal thing, and that's probably the only reason why I I like pets and animals so much is because people have disappointed me so much in my lifetime, even to myself. But there's a few individuals like yourself that be like, snap out of it, bitch. You need to get your come to reality. So I'm thankful for that.
I think the thing is for that, just don't put so much stock in people. Don't have expectations. You have expectations of people, you're going to get your feelings hurt.
That's the reality. Expectations brings about disappointment.
And now so many people honestly don't even know how to be a friend or yeah, that's it. They just don't know how to be a friend. A lot of people don't get it. I keep ending up with psycho women who are just weird. Or they get weird. They start off one way, then they get weird. People try to take ownership of me and just weird stuff. And it's like, this is why I don't have a lot of female friends. And over the years, I have even less and less because every time I meet a group of them, I've watched certain women who have come through this store that all of a sudden now they're wearing long skirts and T-shirts. They'll start wearing long skirts, T-shirts, wrapping their heads. You see a change in makeup styles. You see all of a sudden there's jewelry, there's bracelets, there's all these other, and it's like, Lord. So
it's funny. I kind of had sort of this conversation 2 days ago. I think women tend to do that. Well, people, not just women, because there's some men that probably take on the characters of the people that they're around. Honestly, I think people do that to align themselves with the person or the entity that they admire. I think that's what it is. Either because something is missing. The way it's funny because I used to think my mother was just a psycho, but she told me some things, something about people that are empty. There are people that we know every day that exist and have existed that they have like a proverbial hole inside of them. It's just a void, like a vacuum. And they'll take things and habits and people and fill up that empty void. And that's when they become like obsessive. Like you said, that you might see some habits or you might see some traits in a person and they start adopting things off of you. It's because something is missing inside of them. Just like when people get obsessed in relationships and that stalking shit or the loving somebody so hard that they depersonalize that other individual so that they're not even human anymore. They become a possession. I got to have you. It's because there's they're empty inside, so they got to fill it up with something. And that's mental. That is kind of a mental illness. It's a lacking.
Something they can fill it up with, right? My foot.
It is a lacking, but this is just an explanation. Maybe an explanation of why some people do that. Now, me, I just wanted to be something so opposite and so different. Not that I wanted to stand out, I just didn't want to stand in. You know what I'm saying? So I picked the ugly clothes, or I picked the weird shoes and the boots, or.
But I think you're just comfortable being you, though.
I am now. I am now. So whatever. I haven't always been this way. When I was working in the corporate, the pantyhose and button-up blouses and the tight-ass skirts and the weird dresses and shit like that and the high-heel shoes, that broke something. It's having to conform broke something inside of me.
But see, I was freaky underneath it.
I see.
I went to Lady Orva. I got my silk stockings and had my garters and all that shit going on underneath my corporate attire. So, and then I kept my whatever club clothes, whatever I needed was in my car.
Yeah.
So I would do my quick change over. But I always had some shit going on underneath my clothes. Somewhere in there it had to be something different.
See,
I had to have it. I've always been, I always had to have it. I had my jewelry and
if I had been able to be expressed, because I was goth in high school before goth even
Yeah, that
was.
never stopped for me. Even when I went corporate. But I mean, I did the corporate thing, like I said, but underneath I still got all my shit.
I didn't. Conformity was the thing for me. I'm gonna make my square peg fit into this round hole, and it broke me. It did. It broke something inside of me. I'm here now. Fuck,
See,
I'm here.
I
I'm
couldn't.
fucking here now, man. I'm be what the fuck
She said, "Man."
man. I listen to my Led Zeppelin any fucking where. I don't give a fuck. But I'm just
I could never conform. That was my problem. I mean, high school, I remember having the grades and National Honor Society part in Hamtramck, and they're looking at me like, yeah, no.
What you say? Yeah.
No. Nah. Now, because I was business. My high school diploma says business.
Okay.
So I was vocational business. I started my day with shorthand and typing and all of that
was
shit.
awesome.
But I was supposed to come to school in business attire because
That's your field.
right.
Yeah.
But I came to school in Van Halen t-shirts and bell-bottom blue jeans, and I was dressed like me, and my leather jacket and the whole nine. And it's like, what? Because I was finally able to dress myself. My dad finally let me pick my own clothes. So I went ape shit Yvette.
Okay.
So I wouldn't conform. I refused. I absolutely refused.
I just thought about it. I was raised Muslim. Conformity is
Light bulb.
I was suppressed based on religious dogma.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That makes a difference, I think, for a certain kind of mindset. I wouldn't say that's for everyone. I would say that's for a certain kind of mindset because my parents controlled everything about me, hair, clothes, everything until I started 9th grade. So was that 14?
Yeah.
So at 14, my dad, and she still kind of controlled it a bit. I talked him in and let me pick my own clothes that year, and I was happy as you could.
Yeah.
But I discovered that I did, because they had me in dress clothes. I was going to school in dress clothes, in slacks and pressed shirts and all of this bullshit that I didn't want to wear.
Okay.
And so I discovered, when he let me do this myself, I discovered the Gap. Back when the Gap had the jeans and the slots.
Oh my
By the
God!
waist
Like
size.
pants galore. Nobody remembers pants galore.
I don't
but
even know.
Yeah, pants galore. Dearborn.
Yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't. I didn't even know Dearborn existed until I was grown. But I discovered the Gap, and I did that, and so my mother she was pissed off about that because ladies didn't wear jeans. It wasn't ladylike. So we had a big old, we had a tug of war about that for a couple weeks, and my father finally put his foot down, and I was able to dress how I wanted to dress. But
you were daddy's girl.
absolutely. But with that being said, was supposed to dress a certain way to go to school. That wasn't about to happen. I was enjoying my freedom finally for a change. So
yeah, I get it. And that's why that's probably why you didn't get pregnant in high school, unlike myself.
oh hell no.
Yeah, because when I rebelled with my cooch. I didn't rebel
My father
with my
had me
clothes.
terrified.
Huh?
My father had me terrified.
Oh my God! I wish I had been.
I was the last one in my group to lose her virginity.
That was kind of awesome.
I was the last, and I had been. I was my boyfriend for a good 8-9 months before that even happened.
Wow.
Because it's like no.
Man, listen, my baby daddy, he was just like this really cool project guy, and I was this green. I was just as green as grass, fluffy in the head as a pillow, as a feather pillow. Oh my God, I wouldn't have known my ass from my elbow or some shit like
Lord,
that. All it took is for him to have on sunglasses at a house party at night, and I was like, ooh.
He wore his
He was
sunglasses at night.
Oh my God, he's so fucking cool. Yeah, I was done. Just stick a fork in that ass. I was done.
How old are you?
I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, see, no.
Yeah.
No. My father saw a picture back Polaroid. You know, back when we had Polaroids. Somebody took a Polaroid at Teresa's house of me and Dave Barashai in this chair. I was sitting between his legs, leaning back into him, and he had his face on the side as somebody took the picture. I don't know who, somebody I guess tried to get me in trouble and showed my parents that picture.
Did your dad flip?
They both flipped.
Oh my.
She called me all kind of horrors, because that's how lady like. And he gave me, for the second time, the speech, if I find out you're fucking, I'm going to kill you. So that was my birth control.
That is so daddy-ish. I like that. That's fatherish. That's not daddy.
That was my birth control. Because, in fact, that same boy, me and him got hot and heavy at one of my friends. My friend's, her mom went to work every day, so her mom was at work. And we were at the house and in the bed, hot and heavy. I saw my father's face in the dark. And I got up and put my clothes on and went home. That was that. Like, no, can't do this, gotta go home. I gotta go home.
His face came out the dark. Get like, your ass up from there.
Woo, it's like in the dark. I will never forget that. It came through the dark. Woo,
oh
boom.
my God. Oh, it's
I'm just fucking killing you. Like,
I think it's scary, but it's awesome at the same time, because what I didn't realize that the younger you start, you don't even give your body or your mind or emotions the time enough to even understand what parts you're supposed to enjoy, because it just seemed like a sloppy mess to me until I got in my 20s. I'm like, it was about pleasing the guy, because this is your guy, so it's all about pleasing him. So that's what is there? You mean women are supposed to enjoy it?
That's sad. That's so sad.
Listen, but it was a part of my journey. I don't regret it. I don't.
What is it? I mean, there's no point in regretting the past. The past is what it is.
Yeah, but I know I learned through that is that I didn't want to be that kind of overlord or over lady over my offspring. Maybe I kind of leaned a little too far to the
other way,
to the other spectrum. However, I didn't want to cause the same kind of repression, because that's unhealthy.
I get that. I get that. I was like that with Justin.
Yeah, being liberal is cool, but okay, there's limits to liberal and there's limits to conservatism. It is. You can't be extreme one side or extreme balance. Balance is everything. Balance is everything.
Because my mother started calling me a whore when I was 6, and I didn't even understand why. So I was constantly being called a whore. Yeah. And I was called all these awful names. Yeah. And all of this. Yeah. Even though I didn't even know what a dick was. Yeah. I didn't have a clue. I didn't even know there was a hole down there and I was being called names. I didn't have a clue. I'm asking her at 10 years old, where does the baby come from?
Where does the baby come from?
And she won't tell me. And I'm like, does it come out their booty? I mean, I'm asking all these questions because I don't know. I don't understand that there's a hole. I'm thinking there's a pee hole. There's wherever the pee comes from. I didn't know there was another hole. I didn't know. And so because of all of that, I think 14, my grandma, I started my period when I was 12. So somewhere in there, I got that book, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret.
It's Me, Margaret, yeah.
And I managed to read most of it before she hid it from me. She hid it from me. Okay. She didn't want me to read it. But I started reading everything in the library. I always worked in the school library anyways, and I would go up to the public library, and I started reading everything. So I kind of was well versed in a lot of stuff and
Yeah.
trying to understand.
Yeah.
So I was very clear that when I had my son, he would know the proper names for his body parts, and we had those conversations.
Yes.
When the girls started coming at him hot and heavy, when he was like 9, and these little fast girls was coming at him hot and heavy.
Yeah.
So I had the condom conversation with him. I even had condoms in the linen closet, not because I condone it, but because I know in case you want to do it,
I'd rather you be prepared. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so those kind of things. And I did that because, like, the balance, because to come at it either from my mother's point of view and trying to shame you, or my dad's point of view and threatening you with bodily harm.
Yeah.
There's a middle. Let's start with being honest. So let's
Yeah.
start with talking and being well prepared. So, you know, I've told the story before that I ended up on a pill at 16 because my mother equated getting into a car with a boy as sex. So
But that shows where her mind was. I hate to say that.
Exactly,
but-
that's what the truth.
Yeah.
So she heard I got a ride home from a boy and took me to Henry Ford Hospital, to the doctor, to a gynecologist to get me checked. And it's like, once we get there, the doctor's like, you know, are you still a virgin? I'm like, yes. She's like, phew, all of this nonsense. And I'm looking at her like, seriously? Seriously, you could have asked me this at the house.
Right.
But because you think because you got in a car, that means, but I didn't get home late. I still was home on time. So
Right.
make that make sense. What was I doing? I still got home at my same time.
But you know, the sad part is that her expectations were so low. She didn't even give you an opportunity to, let me demonstrate that I'm responsible for my own well-being.
But that's putting logic with it. There you go. You can't put logic with everybody doesn't have that logic. They don't possess that logic. But what that did was taught me that next year when I was ready to start having sex, I skipped the class, went down there to Henry Ford and got on snuck the Blue Cross card, went down there and got on the pill.
That was smart. I was dumb as fuck.
I didn't want no babies. I knew that was not happening. I did not want no babies.
Well, nobody said it. At least you self-educated. I was incomprehensibly ignorant. Now, I could tell you about science. I could tell you about the autobiography of Malcolm X. I could tell you about how many miles is it from the earth to the moon and the sun. And I could tell you all that shit, but I can't tell you how my body works. That was out. Man, now I got mad.
I had to learn. I mean, you gotta think. My mother had me at 15.
That's when I had mine.
She had, so which means she got pregnant at 14. So she had me at 15. So I had to hear those stories forever. You know, and knowing as an adult, or even not as an adult, knowing as a teenager, because somewhere around 10 years old, I started having all these epiphanies at 10. I don't even know what the fuck that was about. But at 10 years old, I was like having all these epiphanies. Like, wait a minute. My birthday is in April. Y'all's anniversary is in November. That means I'm a bastard.
That means they was doing it.
So that whole thing. But it turned out that, you know, because she had me at 15, she didn't turn 16 until October. So they got married that November. So, you know, all of those kind of things, I got to hear those stories. And at 10 years old, it came to my brain, not just that part, that you're mad at me because you had to get married.
You're mad at me because of the mistakes or the...
You're mad at me because my grandfather made you marry my dad. You're mad at me for that. So, okay, I got it. So it ain't my fault that you act this way. This is your fault that you're mad at yourself. This is me at 10 years old having this whole conversation in my head. Like, hey, that's why she's mad. There's nothing wrong with me. It's like, I got 8 more years in this bitch and I'm out. Yep. That was my mantra. I was planning my exit strategy at 10 years old.
That's, you know, that's kind of really cool. I mean, it was unfortunate. The mother thing, the maternal thing, I think, that's a whole different conversation. That's a whole podcast to itself. But I think mothers, well, of course, fathers can do damage, but mothers, they could do the most intense damage to their, they could do the most intense damage to their children.
Somebody's out there doing donuts in the parking lot.
That's really smart.
Yep. Gas is too expensive.
Man. Yeah, they can do some real damage to their children, to their the self-esteem, because they set the foundation for who you are to become, not in terms of who you are, but who you are to become. The parent, specifically the mother, is supposed to equip you with the tools to cultivate yourself.
But again, they gotta know self to do that, though.
Indeed.
They gotta be comfortable with their own selves. That's where all that's missing. If you got a miserable person who doesn't even acknowledge that they're a miserable person, you know, I don't give this person, like my mother, I don't give her an excuse. I just don't deal with her.
Right, I get that.
Because she still to this day won't acknowledge the fuckery. And if you want to acknowledge it, you're not going to change it. And if other people, all you can ever hear is, well, that's just how she is. Well, that's just some bullshit.
I got that all my life.
That's bullshit.
That's just how she is.
And
that's
I don't have to deal with it. I choose not to deal with that because it's annoying. I think if I have to be responsible for myself and my actions, so should you. I don't give a fuck who you are.
That's logic.
So, no.
That's
and
fair.
if you can't acknowledge the way that you act and the way that you do and the way that you lie and twist stories and all of that stuff, or even understanding yourself enough to know why you do it, I can't fuck with you like that. I mean, I'm cordial when I see you, I speak. And that's that. I mean,
but you're not obligated. Other than
absolutely not.
You can honor and love somebody, or honor somebody, even if it's not love. You can honor them by distance.
From way over there.
From by distance.
Keep your toxic shit way over there, because I can't. Why would I invite that into my inner circle? My logic started a while ago when cell phones were still paying by the minute. When you had the weekend and nighttime hours, and it's like, why should I pay my bill to be aggravated by you?
I get that.
Why? Why would I do that?
I did something similar. I separated myself. I had to separate myself because I would not have any self-esteem or confidence or anything else right now today if I hadn't, separated myself. My mother, in her perspective and her vision of the world, I was, if I played with girls, I was gay. If I had guy friends, I was if I played with girls, I was gay. If I had guy friends, I was a whore. So there was, I couldn't do anything right.
That's about the size of it.
I couldn't do anything right. If I don't want to be a lawyer, I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that. So I'm just busy trying to, okay, so what do you need me to, I'm trying to fit in. What is it that you want me to do? Who is it that you want me to be? Your father's this and that and the other, and you're just dumb as, okay, you know what? While you doing all of this and trying to mutate yourself into what your parent or parents want you to be, you're losing who you are until you get to the point where you say, I've had enough. I will never fit the design that you saw me to be. I'm gonna be who the fuck I am.
But do they have a design? Because when those people, these mothers like that, I'm gonna say, have that much hatred of their own damn selves, that they do that to their child, they got their own self-hatred that they're dealing with.
I think
that they're not even being responsible.
Well, I think that was absolutely true.
And I mean, I heard all that kind of you and your little penny ante job, just because you got your little penny ante job, which of course led to a fist fight. Because I was like, well, at least I got a job. Because this mouth has always been here, so.
Right.
I mean, those kind of things, and then your mother gave you that pushback. mine would give me that pushback, and then she'd do something like call the job and tell them I was on drugs or something like that. You should fire her because
Yeah,
blah blah blah.
yeah.
So you're constantly even now she goes through Facebook, and and likes and will friend my friends on Facebook, especially if they're from Hamtramck, and then will say derogatory things about me here and there to them. It's just goofy stuff that just doesn't stop. So it's like that's why you just stay over there. And I think I had this conversation with somebody else not too long ago. I'm like, the human factor in me, there's that human part of me that, you feel a little guilty sometimes and go, okay, this person is, how old am I? So they're what, like 75 or something like that now, So it's like, they're getting older,
And they still playing that.
But I can't do nothing about that because you're still doing the same stuff. You won't stop that. You won't stop it, nor will you even acknowledge it. If you can at least acknowledge it and say, you know what, I act like a fucking asshole, I'm sorry. Acknowledge it. You won't even acknowledge it. So there's nothing I can do with it. So just stay over there, wherever you live. I don't even know where you live. Just stay over there. Because there's nothing I can do with that. There's nothing I can do with that. And you're not my responsibility.
Absolutely not.
Everyone is responsible for themselves. So the best thing we can do is do better with those that we bring up after us. You got your grandkids now, you do better with them and bring them along and help them as best you can without overextending yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's where we get to draw that whole thing with not overextending, because we can't fix the worlds, we can't fix everything, we can't fix the brokenness in these other people. They have to be ready to fix their own shit. So we would drive ourselves crazy trying to do that. So this is all we can look this way at 59 and 61. See, that's how that works. This is the wrinkle cream. It just works.
Is it right? Yes.
Because I'm going to start rambling. I don't want to start rambling. But yeah. I mean, It is what it is.
It is. And I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to really, really appreciate where I am. And I said this, I don't know if I told you this, I really comprehend now that there's no two people on planet Earth that are exactly the same, to deal with or handle things exactly the same, because we're like every human, especially women tend to be more complex in this, that we're a mosaic or a collage of all of our life's experience, all of our accumulated knowledge, all of our strategy. That should be looking fucked up, excuse my expression, that should be looking fucked up when you have all these different disparate images and shit like that. But you start putting that shit together and stepping back, like, you know what, that's a beautiful motherfucker right there. That bitch is gorgeous. That little jagged piece was that horrible, traumatic shit that you went through, and this smooth part was when things was good or whatever. We're a mosaic. And if we start to appreciate that and embrace who we are and what our experiences are, the good ones and the bad ones, life can be so much better, and then we'll begin to honor ourselves as being the unique people that we are. And I just came to that.
Ta-da! I went deep.
Oh man, that's some cool shit right there.
That's the deepness of it. See?
That was some cool shit right there. Who was that motherfucker said that?
Mission accomplished.
That's why you my friend. That's why you my friend. And I have to tell you this, and this is, this ain't no sloppy emotional shit. But my lifelong friend, my bestie, Virgie Teresa Armour. I met her in elementary school, Cheney Elementary School. She wore black lipstick. You know what I'm saying? When she was 12 and 13, her parents let her be who she was. She wore the hoochie clothes back in the 70s and 80s or whatever, but she could fight too.
Well, she would have to.
Yeah, right. So, and I was this green Muslim girl that she kind of took under her wing, and listening to Kool and the Gang, Jungle Boogie, and all that other stuff that I didn't listen to. She became my best friend and almost an icon for me, because to me she represents independence and strength. Like as a teenager and being who she was, this unique. I'm like, that was the coolest shit. She became an ancestor in 2017. You have bits of that flavor, and I think that's probably why I listen to you when I don't listen to anybody else, because I hear some of that peppered, that hot information that I really appreciate
just
you.
like batshit crazy. Don't you start getting weepy on me.
I'm not, but that's why I appreciate you, because you don't make shit be cute and you
Ain't nobody got time for that.
But she was like that. She was
Nobody
like,
has time
man,
for
that was the dumbest shit I ever. I be saying, well, I think this is it. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard.
Because you just have to be real.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with a lot of so-called friendships, because the person will be that little sweetness in your face and then go behind your back. Do you believe this shit this bitch just did over here? You know, it's like, that's fucked up. Why don't you tell that person to their face?
Yes.
I don't see the point in smiling in your face and then telling somebody else what I really think. And I grew up watching that. I grew up watching that from the women in my family. I grew up watching that shit. That shit would piss me off. I would watch this shit. They would be in each other's face. One person go get some water out the kitchen, and while that person is in the kitchen, everybody is talking about her while she in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then she comes back, and another person goes outside, and everybody talking about that one. And it's like, what the hell? This is crazy as fuck. So it's like, no, if I got something to say, I'm going to say it. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. If we fall out, we fall out. What fucking ever the case may be.
If we fall out, at least you can't say, I lied, I talked about, I backstabbed, I told you to your face. I would rather you punch me in the face with the truth than to make me think that everything is good and cool and this and that and the other. And then I hear, well, she said such and such and such, but well, why didn't she just tell me that?
That part. I got to see that in one of the offices I worked at this one particular Wayne County Mental Health Board office, through them or whatever, years ago. I worked there for 11 years. The first 5-6 years I was close with this group of women. I was in a secretarial pool during those years. And it was 4 or 5 of us. Let's say 4 of us. And we were together all the time. We spent our weekends together. We hung on that certain bar on the east side together. We babysat each other's kids. We were this unit. Somewhere in there, I had went back to school. I had bought a house. I started doing better for myself.
Right.
I'm in my early 20s. These bitches got pissed at me. So one day, nobody said nothing to me at all. No one said anything to me. One day I walk into the lunchroom, and we always ate lunch together at this one table. And when I sat down next to one of the ladies, the 4 of them all turned their backs to me. It was something off of Grease or Mean Girls or something. I ain't never watched Mean Girls. I'm just throwing it in there. They all turned their backs to me. And not one of them ever said anything to me as far as why they were so-called pissed at me. I heard bits and pieces from other people, like throughout the year.
Yeah,
Little bits and pieces. And I had got a promotion, so I was no longer in the secretarial pool with them. So I wasn't sitting with them anymore to even hear anything. I was an assistant to somebody in Lansing at that point, so I didn't have to sit there with them anymore. And it's just, all of that, it gives me the likeness of the shit that I grew up with the women on my mother's side of the family, because that's how they acted.
Yes.
And it's all this goofy, because I remember seeing them all at the back window the one day talking about my car. I had got a new car.
Okay.
And it's like, oh, you see that shit? Yeah, that white one right there. You see that? Yeah, da. And this whole big thing. It's like, wow. That's how y'all go act. So fast forward like 15 years, I get a DM from somebody, and it was a ringleader, her daughter. She was turning 50 or 60 at that time. And her daughter was giving her this big fancy party and invited me. I hadn't seen none of these ladies since I had left that job.
Oh
I went, right? Because I'm that kind of a so-and-so.
Absolutely.
I went because I wanted to see where all these heifers was now in life.
Okay. Oh, my goodness.
That was hilarious. It's like, yeah, I didn't think I was going to come. I came, I went. But no one, everybody just smoothed right over how they acted. They acted like that never happened.
Yeah.
And like we were always the same. And it's like, wow. So one of those, the one that was a couple years younger than me, she passed away at the height of COVID. And then the other ones are still around. And the one moved to Texas, and we talk every once. We don't talk. She sends me Facebook things. It's like nothing ever happened. But
Like
no one's ever apologized or said, this is why we acted this way, or I followed the crowd and acted this way. Because the one that talks to me that lives in Texas now, she was the one that was trying to talk to me, and I will never forget it. I had walked up to her desk one day and said, I'm thinking about going to Greektown for lunch. You want to come? And she said, yeah, sure. And she was getting ready to grab her shit, and the little ringleader bitch came walking up and looked at her and went, and she said, oh, no, I got to do some work for Dr. So-and-so. I got to stay. Right. It was like, this is some crazy stuff. So
that, I don't know, groupie.
That cliquish.
Yeah, that cliquish, that's some mentally ill
We deal
type
with this
of
with
shit.
Shimmy Mob.
What?
We deal with this with Shimmy Mob. The cliquish thing. We'll talk about that off camera.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah. That's
why
Detroit cliquish. It's cliquish.
It is. And that's why for the past, I say maybe 20, 30 years, I developed closer friendships with men. I mean, not totally platonic. Because they don't, I don't know, maybe men don't give a fuck enough to be like backbiting or whatever. And I know they do that too.
Well, we're of a certain age, I think, so we're still raised with the manly men, because these younger motherfuckers are a bunch of bitches. But anyway.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're different. They're made different now. They are.
We're going to wrap this up because we done got way
Oh
off
my
topic.
God, we just.
And it was like an hour and a half. And we talking about a whole bunch of other stuff that we might have to edit. I don't know. But
I'm glad you're smart about this shit, because I don't know what
because we're going to keep on going and say some stuff that really is not kind of cool. So anyways, we started off with the hoodoo thing, being a way of life.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, see? Being a way of life, and so on and so forth. And we might touch on that again at another time, but I think we kind of got the gist of what we were speaking of. And
do what resonates with you.
Yeah, trust yourself. And we will see you guys next time. If you like our content, like and subscribe, and click on the bell for notifications. If you're in the Detroit area, stop by and see us. We're open 7 days a week, or visit us at our website, www.motownwitch.com. Thanks.